Around 50 miles south-east of our location lies the city of Graz. Graz is not only well known for being the second biggest city in Austria after Vienna, but also for being home of the intellectuals of higher education in Europe, and having 4 universities that play host to over 60,000 students. Not just content with housing some of the brightest, youngest academic minds in Europe, but it's also incredibly picturesque, with areas such as the Schlossberg and Eggenberg Palace. The drivers then will be open. They'll have a pretty picture of their victory poses after tonight's race here at the Red Bull Ring for round 8 of the Renault Megane Trophy, sponsored by Power Max Racing. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator for tonight, and if last season was anything to go by, then tonight's race will be absolutely frenetic. Now, we've got a whole number of drivers out on track at the moment. We're riding with Shadow Stalker currently, and Shadow Stalker had a good season so far at the moment. He's running inside the top 10 in the championship, which we'll come on to right now. We'll see how everyone is getting on in their Lobby 2. So, currently in the lead of the championship, we'll just see where he is in the lobby. There he is in 14th at the moment. D Whitehouse 7 is just in the garage. He is leading this championship fight between himself and Timmy DJ G94 on 141 points. Timmy, respectively, is on 129. He's got the gap down to 12 points after his race win last time out at the Autopolis circuit in Japan. Third place, Danzo, incredibly, is in third place in the championship. This is NXTGEN Danzo. He's currently just out on circuit in the moment in that Tank Tools car. This is a driver who has never had a podium in this series, and he's third in the championship. It just shows you what level of consistency you can have to get really good positions overall. Fourth place, one measly point behind him, is Snav, 78 points currently in the championship. Fifth is Cerbertus, he's on 72. 1805 is in 6th on 62 points. Slow Seamus, as Snav gets a big twitch coming out of turn 1 there. Slow Seamus is on 61 points, just 1 point behind 1805. 8th is Mark Parker, seeing where he is out on circuit. There he is, just coming across the line. He's on 57 points. Main rival, Shadow Stalker, is on 53 currently. We were with him just a few moments ago. Jay Coleman is in 10th place on 49 points, and he is in tonight. Is Coleman? He's in the pits, so it's nice to have him back. It's been a while since we saw Coleman. He missed last week at Autopolis, but he's back. He was there at Suzuka. Back tonight, so that'll be good to see how he gets on. For the first time in a long time, Chris Cross is back in Lobby 2. The Zerkotech driver who won the opening round at the Nürburgring, let's not forget. He is 11th in the championship on 36 points. DMK 80, he's on 29. The 55-8, who got his best ever qualifying position last week, he is in 13th place on 25 points. NXTGEN Dark Sykes is on 24 points in 14th. NXTGEN Big Z is on 18 points in 15th place. And TMLS 313 rounds out the championship standings with 4 points after his one race that he had earlier on in the season, and that was where he finished 13th in Kyoto. So we're just coming up now to getting the lobby started in a few moments. Just having a look to see how many drivers are in the lobby at the moment. We've got 14 currently. Don't believe we are waiting on anyone else as far as I'm aware. Just cut to Slow Seamus. Just having a quick check in the drivers area just to see if there are any drivers that we're missing. Doesn't look like. So we're going to crack on. We'll start qualifying, so we'll exit, and we'll get this show on the road. So this is going to be a really good race. I'm really looking forward to this on a personal level. Last season was fantastic for the drivers. It was a wet race for those that watched last season, season 18. Before now was 17 naturally, and the drivers have got a number of unique challenges around this great circuit, frankly. And we'll go through the drivers that are in for tonight. We've got Timmy just coming out of the pits. This is the man who's got a lot to prove. He's got the gap down to 11 points to D Whitehouse. He's just coming out of the pits. That is going to be crucial for him in terms of that championship fight. Still 3 rounds to go, including tonight as well. We've got 2 more events at Interlagos and Lago Maggiore for the final event, so it's going to be a titanic scrap between those two, but tonight will be key in that fight. 55, Bertus just coming out. Driver we've got with us tonight making his debut in the series is Roving Island. The number 48 driver, you can see he's just sponsored by Joyce Design in that really nice green, white and yellow accented livery there. I haven't got much information on Roving Island in terms of he's just a newcomer to the league, and I'm sure everyone's quite curious in terms of how he will get on. Slotted himself into lobby 2 relatively nicely, so he just makes his way down. You can see he's just coming towards turn 4 there, just on the brakes. That is turn 4. Incredibly enough, this circuit has some peculiar, shall we say, F1 circuit designations for corners, but I suppose with the other sort of series that come round here, including MotoGP and other championships too that are quite prominent round here, then of course they've got to make sure that all the circuits and turns are accounted for whilst the MotoGP goes on alongside Formula 1 this season. 2020 hasn't been the best in terms of motor racing. It took a long time to get going, but we are racing again, and it's fabulous to have everyone back. But we'll go on board. In fact, we'll stay with Roving Island on his debut for a opening lap. So we'll ride on board with him. We've got coming up towards the start-finish line now, 120 mile an hour in 5th gear. Heads towards Castrol Corner. That's turn 1. Got Bigsy just on the inside there. Brakes at the 100-metre marker. Fades a little bit to the inside. In 3rd gear, clips the apex relatively well, does Roving Island, as he comes now up towards the hill. He's doing 125 mile an hour, still increasing. This is turn 2, technically speaking, under the Frutura little advertising holding there. Down on the brakes at 100 metres into turn 3. Very difficult corner to get right, but I have to say Roving Island's done really well. Got on the brakes nice and early and got the exit just so. Right back then down to turn 4. Quite a tricky corner to get right, this one, because it's off camber on the outside. Just brakes before the advertising hoardings again, down to 3rd gear, clips the curb, runs over the curb somewhat at the end, and he's done really well. This has been a really neat lap so far. Under the advertising hoarding again, and then he brakes just at the 50-metre marker. Touch wide through turn 6, but he'll get away with that. And then onto the brakes just after the green AstroTurf on the left hand side. 4th gear still for Roving Island as he goes through turn 8. It's been a clean lap this so far from Roving Island. Snav just moving out of the way, making sure he's not blocking anyone on that right hand side there as he approaches now turn 9. Touch late on the brakes, he runs a little bit wide. He should be able to keep the throttle in, and he does. Down to 4th gear again. Robbie stays in the same gear, and now he comes towards the line. So this has been a really neat lap from Roving Island. What is his lap time going to be? Puts him 3rd. That's a really good showing on your opening lap, Roving Island, to take 3rd place currently. Still 6 minutes 10 seconds left in the session, of course. There's still time to go. Seamus there in 2nd at the moment, but it's Timmy leading the way once again. The momentum, is it swinging the number 22 driver's way? We'll have to see how the race plays out. Don't forget, D. Whitehouse 10. Oh, Seamus has gone into the wall at turn 4. I'm assuming he's just clipped the curb and gone round. Bigsy set a very slow lap time. D. Whitehouse is still in 4th. I was just about to make the point that D. Whitehouse usually makes very late improvements, as he has done this season, so expect more from the Hampshire driver who's leading the championship at the minute. Dark Sykes running in 5th. Touch of lag there in the lobby. Hopefully that doesn't continue. Hopefully that will be not too bad. I'll just double check my own stream to make sure everything is alright. Doesn't seem to be any problems. Dark Sykes going 3 tenths quicker on this lap at the moment. There's Danzo in 6th place, our incredibly 3rd place man in the championship despite no podiums. 55.8 in 7th, so Bertus is 8th. Comes Coleman getting out of the way, actually going over the grass to try and get past, or rather to get out of the way of Crisscross. He's just picked up a penalty, I've noticed. Danzo's now done a 33.6. Where's that moved Danzo up to? I think he's stayed in 6th place. He has. D. Whitehouse now moves up into 3rd place on a 33.3. Still 1.1. Timmy has a guessed. D. Whitehouse goes wide. He just holds onto this, onto the Hampshire car. I'll be honest, D. Whitehouse last season when we were at the Red Bull Ring, he had the pace again, as he always does, to potentially win a race, and he threw it off the circuit. And turn 1 was exactly the same thing. He ran wide at the corner and off he went. He's got to try and avoid that if he wants to keep a good gap on his championship lead. Seamus being back tonight will no doubt throw a spanner in the works for both Timmy and D. Whitehouse. We all know that Seamus is a really quick driver. He definitely has the pace. He was missed last week at Autopolis, was the Adrian Flux driver, but he's back tonight. He's got that gap now down to 7 tenths between himself and Timmy, but that's still a large gap to have on what is not the biggest circuit in the world. It's now a 1 minute 30 lap time in the Meganes, but in terms of the length of the track, it's not long. So it would be interesting to see how everyone gets on. Timmy goes again on another lap. He hasn't gone any quicker, but 2:32.6 is so far. Seamus and D. Whitehouse just shadowing one another. I think that was Crisscross on the inside there. Yeah, it was. He's just getting out of the way of everyone again. Chris will be hoping to move up the order. Roving Island still inside the top 5, which is positive news for him. There's a whole train of cars going up the hill at the moment. Dark Sykes has got himself right in behind Danzo, who's got himself behind Coleman in that 3M car. So could be some trains forming. You know, there is a possibility for drivers tonight to get an advantage with that slipstream. As Shadowstalker just in 13th place, he's right behind his main rival for this season, and Mark Parker, the CRT driver. 400 separate those two, and Snav doing his usual. For those that are unaware, Snav just happily taking his time now. He's just going to be setting no laps effectively in qualifying and starting from the back. So how will his progress go? He's actually the highest finisher from last season into tonight. He finished 5th last season in the Red Bull Ring race, the wet race that we had last time, and he had a decent race that time around. He'll be hoping he can get at least back up to 5th, because it's not impossible for the Power Products driver. I'm sure he can go quicker than that. Has Timmy extended his gap? Suburtus is up to 3rd. Timmy goes even quicker now. That's another 32.1. Marginally improves, but it's an improvement nonetheless. And he's got almost 8 tenths to Seamus. D. Whitehouse just shadowing Seamus here currently, the Irish driver, being followed by the Brit. Oh, and Seamus has run a touch wide. He was on a best sector time. We just saw that flash up. He's got out of the way. He's going to go for another lap. Coleman goes quicker. Danzo goes quicker. D. Whitehouse goes quicker. So now we're seeing the lap time. We're seeing the championship rivals getting together. 1/10 separating the two. D. Whitehouse should have 2 laps. He's run wide again through turn 1. He has to be careful he doesn't trip the track limits there. Shadowstalker's improved again. And sure enough, D. Whitehouse has got a half-second penalty. So will he be able to clear that and get ready for another lap? He's 2 tenths up, and you can see that's the advantage that you can gain. And in fact, that's a very crafty way of removing your penalty. That's very effective. I'm sure everyone just saw that then, but D. Whitehouse just braking for turn 3, effectively, and he just cleared his penalty. So could that be an effective strategy? I mean, some would say it's unsporting, others would say it's fine, it's within the regulations. We'll see what the stewards think of that one. That'll be fascinating to see how that plays out during the race. Seamus is 3rd. He's got a 2-tenth gap to Bertus. He's on a great run recently, is Bertus. You know, he's had 2 podiums in a row now. He had one at Suzuka. He's had one last week at Autopolis, where he was putting the pressure on D. Whitehouse. It's certainly improved this season as the Fuchs driver. That's why he's, you know, in a good position in the championship, as I mentioned earlier. Is another potential podium on the cards? He's looking good so far. Shadowstalker's up to 9th, which is a fantastic performance at the moment. Big Z going slowly. I wonder if he'd have done a better lap time. I think he might have done a really good first sector and then made a mistake. Yeah, he's pulling over and getting out of the way of everyone. His qualifying, though, is done. Crisscross has just moved up to 3rd as we speak. Zerkotech driver now finding his rhythm. He's got 1 lap to go. Danzo's in the wall. Roving Island still inside the top 10. This is a good showing from him. on his debut tonight. Seamus is going 500ths quicker, and what I said before was about the slipstream. The toe round here can be worth quite a large amount, and you can see that in the opening sector. He's got a double toe almost from D. Whitehouse, and then D. Whitehouse's friend Coleman ahead of him. That's going to be interesting to see. Another car coming across the line. 55.8 improves. He moves up into 11th place. He's been in the wall or something. He's had a collision with something somewhere, because you can see all the scuff marks on the front of his car. Coleman just going around the sort of middle sector at the moment. He's just going through turn 6. Another car coming across, or coming towards the line at the moment. Parker's finished. Shadowstalker's finished as well. Oh, Dark Sykes is all over the gravel there. He just about got away with it. He's still improving on his lap time. He's 8/10 up. Danzo still on, well, I would say he's on a lap, but he's not. Biggsy's come across the line. That's a game over for him, as has Berta. So this is the train. Coleman will be first, followed by D. Whitehouse, followed by Seamus. We're with D. Whitehouse. Coleman goes quicker. D. Whitehouse doesn't. Seamus doesn't either. What about Crisscross? Can he go any quicker? Pole position for Crisscross. That's a fantastic lap right at the death. He snatched the pole position and point away from Timmy. 5,000ths of a second. What a lap at the end for Crisscross. I was wondering whether he was going to show up tonight, because look at his opening times. They weren't there. But that is a wonderful performance. What a return. We haven't seen him for 3 races, but he's back tonight. Crisscross is your pole position man in the number 42 Zerko Tech car. Fantastic qualifying. That is the closest ever qualifying officially we've had in the Megane Trophy. 5,000ths between Crisscross and Timmy. D. Whitehouse has to sit on the second row, the championship leader, but he's got Seamus alongside him. Bertus is in 5th, rounding out the top 5. And Roving Island on his debut, it's 8th place in the top 10. Well, this is where it matters though now. This is where the points are made. This is where the points are earned. We've got Crisscross on the right-hand side in that purple and white car, the Zerko Tech car. And Timmy on the left-hand side in the black, orange and white works car. Who's going to win this one? We've got 20 minutes on the right-hand side. Here come the numbers. And the race is live here at the Red Bull Ring. It's a good start from the 2 drivers on the front row. D. Whitehouse has managed to get himself into 3rd place. He's fending off Suburtus and Seamus. Suburtus is on the outside as it goes to turn 1, but Timmy's up the inside. He's got the lead. He's forced it wide. D. Whitehouse now looking for a potential move up the inside. They've got the slipstream as they approach turn 3, and sure enough, Crisscross has to settle back in. So, good start for D. Whitehouse and Timmy. Bad start for Crisscross. There was another driver who got pushed wide earlier on. D. Whitehouse is going for a lunge up the inside. Can he get it stopped on the brakes? No, not quite. He's on the exit curb. And Timmy moves straight back in front of him. Crisscross, is he going to be have enough momentum towards turn number 4? I don't think so. Further back, Bertus and Bigsy now are side by side. Bertus aggressively defending against Bigsy on the approach to turn 4. Bigsy, sure enough, slots back in, no problems there. Danzo is in 7th, Coleman's 8th. Snav up to 9th from the back of the grid. Fantastic start. Mark Parker getting all sorts of out sideways as he came out of turn number 4 there. And once again, Dark Sykes seems to catch himself in the worst possible moment, because he's back in 14th. It's just really unfortunate for the Mark Sykes design driver. He just, for some reason, well, first 3 races he's taken part in, on the opening lap, he's fell right to the back of the grid. He's been hit somewhere. That's a 55.8. He's gone into the gravel trap. Just about avoids him at the moment. But back at the front, we'll back out, back straight back in. Let's go. And Timmy still leads the way. He's got 4 temps. There's a 4-car train at the moment with D. Whitehouse close behind, Crisscross there, and Seamus hanging on to the back. Then it's Suburtus. He's in 5th place. He's got a little bit of a gap to Bigsy and Danzo. Coleman sort of by himself, as is Snav. And that's Roving Island trying to now defend from Shadowstalker on the inside. In fact, Shadowstalker trying to go around the outside. What a move! Fantastic from Shadowstalker right round the outside. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's the best overtake we've ever seen from Shadowstalker. Got to be careful on the run up now to turn 3. Don't want to undo all that hard work of getting past Roving Island, who's now fighting back on the inside, but nothing doing. Great move from Shadowstalker. That was brilliant around the outside of turn 1. But back to the front. D. Whitehouse has put a little bit of a gap to Seamus, because Crisscross has made a mistake somewhere and he's down in 4th. So, Little bit of a mistake, we didn't quite see it. Might have been at turn 3, just coming out of the hairpin. But Crisscross now in 4th place. Just got to keep hold of himself, got to recompose, re-energise, get himself back going again. 5th place still belongs to Bertus. Danzo's up to 6th, so Bigsy's fallen down a position. Not certain what's happened there to Bigsy, but he's now 7th. Snav has latched onto that train, and Coleman was a little bit sideways coming out of turn 7 and 8 there. Is Snav going to be close enough to make a move up the inside of turn 9? He's there, but he breaks a little earlier. Still room for him. I think he's going to be close enough, and sure enough, he is not. So, as we get on to lap 3 then, Timmy still has the lead. And that's, in fact, Timmy's just having to defend from D. Whitehouse. Crisscross are on board with... Ooh, that was very, very tight between the two drivers of Seamus. The gap was closing all the time, but this is what we've got to look at, because Seamus has got a perfect position for us to ride on board with, because D. Whitehouse is on the inside as they approach turn 4. Can he get past on the brakes? He's ghosted, which has allowed Timmy just to cut straight back through, and really canny driving from the works driver. He's back up into the lead again. Said this would be going to be a frenetic race, didn't I? Now, what about Seamus? He's right on the back of D. Whitehouse. Can he take advantage? Doesn't look like he can into turn 4. A little bit of a nudge going through the corner, but no advantage gained. So, good sportsmanship from Seamus, not taking advantage from what just happened there. Little nudge on the brakes as they go through turn 4. D. Whitehouse taking that wider sort of entry and then tightens the corner up a little bit more, and you can just see it's gapped him to Seamus. Seamus lost about half a second there. Crisscross right on the ragged edge trying to get back onto this leading, well, trio. It's more of a quartet. Bertus is on his own now in 5th, as is Danzo, a little bit lonely in the opening laps. Bigsy as well. Snav's up to 8th after starting 14th. Parker there inside the top 10 still. Roving Island minding his own business at the moment in 11th place. Dark Sykes still trying to sort himself out. He's up from last place, but he's back onto the train, but it's going to be a tall order to try and get up to another 5th position. Look at this though, we're close again as they come on to lap number 4 now. All running that exit curb, and I think that the drivers have figured out a sort of almost exploit really, that they can get away with running wide into turn 1 and then watch the ghosting start now. And you can already see that they took 4/10. Oh, Seamus got into the back of D. Whitehouse there. Just on the power, a little bit too early. But the drivers have found an exploit going into turn 4, and rather turn 3 for the ghosting. So maybe some comments about that in the post-race discussion. See how that goes. Seamus deep into the corner. Where's Crisscross? Not close enough at the moment to take advantage. Timmy still leads the way, soaking up the pressure at the moment from the 3 cars behind. So have a quick scan through to see where everyone is. Snav's not dropped Coleman. In fact, I think Snav's made a mistake. A little bit of a dilemma on the rear of his car and the front left or front right, as you see it, on the car. So that'll be interesting to see if he can try and clear that problem. Parker still in 10th. Coleman, yeah, nothing changing. Darksakes has just repassed Shadow Stalker after having to give way on the lap prior to this. But the gap between Seamus now and Coleman, or rather Crisscross, is closing. It's just coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down. Can Crisscross look for a move up the inside? He's got the slipstream, he's got the toe, and he's got the move done. Will Seamus try and do a cutback? He looked to do it, but not quite there. He's not quite alongside enough. So, positions as they are, Crisscross now up to 3rd place. The pole position man has got a little bit of work to do. Timmy is actually pulling a bit of a gap to D. Whitehouse. This is a good showing so far from the works driver. This is important for his championship. And don't forget, Crisscross can score points. So a driver between the two of Timmy and Crisscross would be beneficial for Timmy's championship. So he'll be hoping he can get onto that as soon as he can. The approach now turn 4. D. Whitehouse. I wonder what he's thinking right now, to be honest with you, because he's in two positions really at the moment. Does he attack? Does he defend? Really, really difficult situation for him to be in terms of the championship with 3 rounds to go, including this one. He's got to try and think about what he wants to do. Will he attack? Will he continue to defend? At the moment, he doesn't feel the need to, but Crisscross has really put a good lap in recently, and he's really closed that gap now to D Whitehouse. You can see on the brakes, they're very, very close together. Let's go through the final corner. A little bit of a slide through the corner for Crisscross. That's just going to sap his momentum again. And he'll have to try and work his way onto the back of that Amshik driver again. D Whitehouse with the fastest lap currently. Crisscross using all of the exit curb he can and a bit more at turn 1. And Seamus really taking liberties with turn 1 through there. Now it's giving them the penalty. It's giving them a 1 second penalty for that one. We'll see how that goes as he approaches turn 3 again. Oh, Crisscross, you could just hear the revs just kicking up a little bit there as he went over that curb. He's got to be careful of that, but he is in a position now where he can attack D Whitehouse going into turn 4. Will he move to the inside? There's room for him. D Whitehouse has left the door open. D Whitehouse slides the car in spectacularly, but he holds on to it and he's still in second place as the championship leader. Seamus has lost a little bit of ground to these two. So we'll stay with these drivers at the moment. We'll cut to the exterior ones. We can get to that quicker, that'd be great. And yeah, Crisscross, you can see now really applying the pressure these last few laps. Looking at the other drivers on circuit at the moment, just little gaps at the moment. Apart from potentially in 12th and 13th. Look at Crisscross is really strong through turn 7 and 8. So he just gets that run down to turn 9, but he's not quite close enough to make a move. The front end washes out again, a little bit more understeer, but this time he's closer. Will he be close enough potentially to make a move going into turn 1? There's the fastest lap as well to prove how quick he is at the moment. Will he look for a move? No, slots himself back in, gets himself prepared for the approach to turn 3. Good run from D Whitehouse. Really good run, and it's just equalised. Now, though, it's starting to bring himself back in. Will D Whitehouse defend? Doesn't look like he is. No, he's not. Goes a little bit wider on the inside for Crisscross. I think D Whitehouse has gone deep into the corner. He's gone very, very deep into the corner. He's gone so far off the circuit, he's gone to Narnia. That could be contested. I mean, Crisscross hadn't overtaken him. He wasn't looking at the move, but he was looking at the move, of course, but D Whitehouse really ran far off the circuit there. Crisscross won't be pleased with that. He certainly won't be pleased, but he's still there on the back of him. He's not lost any time, which is the key point. So, oh, and there we go up the inside. Is that a move into turn 6? There's a little bit of contact between the two, but I think Crisscross has practically got the move done. He's still on the inside for turn 7, and that is a move complete. D Whitehouse, will he look to try and switch back and then switch back again? Gaps coming down, 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 down. Any chance of him going on the inside? No, he goes to the outside as they approach the penultimate corner now. He's on the wrong line. Is D Whitehouse for a move up the inside, and sure enough, Crisscross gets up to second. It was a good move. Approaching turn 6, he just got the run he needed. And will that now set him off after Timmy? You know, Crisscross not won a race since the opening round at Nürburgring. He'll be looking to try and add to his tally. We're only halfway through the race at the moment. Definitely an opportunity for Crisscross to get a potential race victory here. Will he take D Whitehouse with him? That's what D Whitehouse will be hoping for. You know, Dave will be wanting to try and just tag along with the Zerkotech man. Seamus just in 4th at the moment. No, just on the tail of these. Oh, and D Whitehouse is around. That is the championship leader who is pushing so hard. Oh, and he's got the line wrong, his re-entry, and he's round again, and it's all gone wrong for D Whitehouse. His 2nd season in a row. He's scrambling all over the curb. Cars are going past him left, right and centre. Ah, and D Whitehouse from 2nd to 9th in a lap. That's how it plays out sometimes. And D Whitehouse has had another torrid time at the Red Bull Ring again. And that is going to throw up a huge implications in the championship fight, because Timmy will now want to fight for his life to get this race win. If you take the championship standings at the minute, Timmy, incredibly, would be leading the championship if results stay as they are right now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable how quick it could just change, but Crisscross is on his way. He's got that gap right down again. Look at that for a fastest lap. It's a 1:31.7. Chris can see that race win now, and he's going to absolutely try his utmost to get past the works driver. Seamus is in third. Bertus has been joined by Danzo. Danzo having a fantastic run. He'll be looking to extend his championship advantage in that third position fight between himself and Snav, because Snav currently doesn't look like he's going to get anywhere near Danzo unless any errors occur. There's Coleman. He's in 8th place. The recovering D Whitehouse now down in 9th place. Parker's in 10th. Roving Island on his debut, he's running consistently, actually. You know, he's getting some decent times as Roving Island in that Choice Design car. He's 11th. Dark Sykes, I'm not certain what's happened, but he's not gained on the pack like we expected him to. And his lap times recently have just been off the boil. A couple of mistakes potentially. Shadowstalker's still in 13th, bit of a wiggle coming out of turn 3. And the 55 Ace is having a bit of a torrid time at the moment. He's gapped to the rest of the pack. We know he's quicker than that. 55-8, we saw it last week. But we're back to the fight at the front, and Chris Cross is in 2nd place with 6 minutes 18 to go. He's putting that pressure on the works driver in these last few laps. Can he get a 2nd race win of the season? Will Timmy potentially look to get a 4th race win of the season? It's going to be very close between these two. Gap stabilised for now, but Chris Cross will no doubt be looking for a good exit. Coming out of turn 1, he was right on the limit again, but he's held it on the limit. We'll ride on board with him as he approaches turn 3. He's got the slipstream of Timmy. He's going to be close enough to make a move going towards turn 3. He's going to go for the inside and cut to the external shot. Is he late enough on the brakes? They're both braking in stages between the two drivers, but Timmy fends him off, and Chris Cross all over the curb as he came out of turn number 3. What about Bertus and Danzo? Bit of a gap between the two. They were quite a little bit closer on that last lap. I don't know if there was a little mistake somewhere between Danzo. Biggsy's in 6th. Snav's not under pressure at the moment. Coleman's in 8th. D Whitehouse needs to get back past Coleman if he wants to retain a joint lead in the championship. Timmy, though, at the moment, must be thinking lottery numbers will be worth playing for this week if he can continue this form up. Because he's got the lead, he's got 5 minutes to go. Roughly 3, potentially 4 laps left of this race. And he's going to be desperate to try and get that race victory. The number 22 driver really now going to have to put his best defensive efforts on to keep Chris Cross behind. Because Chris Cross is a great driver, he's a very quick driver, we all know this. And he'll want another race win this season. Just see the gap actually went out on that last lap, so a little error from Chris Cross there. Bertus and Danzo are close on circuit. These two rivals have been fantastic in their 2 seasons. Bertus looking to defend on the inside. Ooh, he just comes across Danzo in the braking zone. Danzo, luckily he was on the brakes earlier. Bertus running wide. And sure enough, that's a good run for Danzo. We're on the sort of spoiler cam effectively, or rather roof front splitter cam. Goes to the outside, does Danzo. Bertus squeezing him against the curb as much as he can. He's still on the outside, but nothing doing on that front for the time being. Don't know if Danzo was aware that Bertus had a little penalty. They both have penalties. Could he use that opportunity to just ghost through him? Would have been a little bit of a cheat, but this is the situation we're in. Danzo trying to go around the outside at turn 4. Wow, that would have been impressive. Not quite close enough to make that move, though. And Danzo stays in 5th place for the time being. Bigsy's in 6th. He's been slowly reeled in by Snav. D Whitehouse now up into 8th. He's got roughly 2 oh, Coleman's very, very wide through turn 6. He just held it on circuit. D Whitehouse, though, has got 2 laps potentially to try and catch Snav and Bigsy, who are now closing again in themselves. Danzo still looking to put the pressure on. I'm conscious there's a couple of battles now going out on circuit. Chris Cross has got a good run again. Now he goes what he does. He runs over the entrance curb to turn 1 to switch the car in. That's a good run. He's really early on the power. He's got himself on the inside line for turn number 3. He's on the inside now. Can he get the momentum? Can he brake later than Timmy as they approach In fact, Timmy's slowed. Timmy's slowed. I'm not certain what happened there for Timmy. But Crisscross now has the lead. Remarkably, with 2 laps to go for these two drivers, Crisscross has got the lead. You see Crisscross weaving already just to try and keep himself away from the toe for Timmy. It's going to be really difficult to try and break that over these next 2 laps. Crisscross just dumping the car through in a little bit of a slide through turn 4 there, but he keeps the car in a straight line, which is the main thing. Bertus still got Danzo trying to attack him as they approach now turn 4 again. Danzo looking to get a switch back, but not quite close enough. My sort of timings, rather my sort of mileometer has completely disappeared, so we'll just have to make do as we can. There's Big Z at the moment, still defending in 6th place. Snav's there in 7th. Just looking to put that pressure on if he can. We'll cut forward. These two won't get another lap, so this is the final lap for these two. Timmy's got a really, really good run coming out of the final corner. We'll cut to Timmy. We'll go on board of him. Got my camera back. Wonderful. We've got the graphics. Now, is he going to go to the outside? Crisscross going very, very defensive, but Crisscross braked so early. Timmy's gone flying off the circuit. Surely that's going to be a penalty for Timmy. How much he's going to get? It's half a second, incredibly. Half a second. Timmy can just clear that in this sector. That is surely going to be debated in the post-race scrutineering team. We're going to have to look at that one. But Timmy has the lead on the final lap. Bit of tactics going on from Crisscross, but didn't seem to quite work. Seamus on his own, he's had a lonely race, but he's going to get a podium for it. Danzo on the outside, there's a bit of contact between the two drivers. Bertus still holds on, there's a bit of ghosting. Can Danzo get back on the power again on the inside? Bertus shuts the door, switches to the outside now, does Danzo. Has he got the momentum to try and go around the outside of turn 4? He tried it on the last lap. Snav under pressure as well from D. Whitehouse in the background, but Danzo on the outside, can he get through? He's squeezed, a bit of ghosting for Bertus, but Bertus holds the position. We cut back to the front because Timmy is all over the back of Crisscross, and sure enough, I'm sure that Timmy's let Chris back through. So it's going to come down to this final 2 corners. Timmy, if he wants this championship, has to make the lunge now. He goes to the outside. Crisscross defends heavily going into turn 9. Crisscross, though, got a good line through there, kept the momentum up. Timmy's going to have to try, get a good run through the final corner. He's got a great run, but it's not going to be enough. And Crisscross takes his first win since the Nürburgring. What a result. Timmy takes 2nd. Slow Seamus, 3rd place. We cut to Bertus and Danzo. Bertus has a penalty that he's got to try and clear. It's not going to happen for him before the line, so Danzo takes another 4th position. Bertus is 5th. Bigsy's 6th. Snav has not got rid of the penalty. There's a bit of ghosting going on, but D. Whitehouse takes 7th. Snav is 8th. Coleman 9th. Parker 10th again. Roving Island on his debut is 11th. Darksight's got 12th in the end. Shadowstalker is in 13th. To 55.8 has pulled over. He's had enough. But Shadowstalker will come home in 13th position. What a finale. That was absolutely incredible. What a lap. What a final lap that was. There was so many fights on the circuit. Crisscross took the win. I suspect Timmy has let Chris back through there because he did run so far wide at turn 1. It would have been debated in the stewards, but it doesn't need to be now because Crisscross takes his first win since round 1. Timmy gets 18 points in the championship. He gained 8 points on D. Whitehouse, who's in 7th place there. So the gap now in the championship between Timmy and Dave is just 3 points with 2 rounds to go. What a finals 2 set of races we've got on our hands. Slow Seamus there. He got 3rd place. That was a really good performance. Danzo was in 4th. Another 4th place for Danzo. He must be thinking, what more can he do to try and get on the podium? But the Tank Tools driver is going to be pleased, extending that gap in 3rd place in the championship. Bertus is 5th. Another good result for the Dutch driver. Bigsy was 6th, beating his brother this time out. D. Whitehouse, what could have been? He was right there in the start, but another mistake just took him away, and around he went. Snav jumped up to 8th in the end after starting last, as he does. Coleman was 9th, and Mark Parker rounded out the top 10. Another top 10 finish for Parker. That was really good for him. I'm just going to cut down because we're sort of stuck in the lobby. I think it's 55.8 who needs to finish. we put finish race. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't say if he's completed it, and all the drivers are just sort of going round and round at the moment. But that is the end of the race. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get to the end of this. So it's going to be a few minutes before we do. 55.8 just gets himself underway now and see if he can get through. Just a few comments by the drivers in the post race chat. There we go. The timer has ticked over now. We couldn't see it on the screen, but this is your race winner for the first time since round 1. Chris Cross has taken the victory. He took pole position and fastest lap as well. A trio of rewards there for him. The Zerk Attack Man will be moving up the championship order tonight. That's fantastic racing for today at the Red Bull Ring. We'll be back again at 8 o'clock British Standard Time next week, of course, for round 9. The penultimate round will be at Interlagos, Sao Paulo. What a race that will be around such a very technical and twisty circuit. As always, you can follow NXTGEN on social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Discord as well. Please feel free to join in. And if you're interested in taking part, please do follow those social medias for more information. 2 rounds to go, and I'm certain we've got one heck of a championship finale on our hands between Timmy and D Whitehouse 7. But anyway, that's it for tonight's racing, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, I'll see you very, very soon.